You ready? Go ahead.
Right at I for the rhythmic. So there's a tempo change, so this will be our new tempo. So I'll just give you one. Slow down the tempo for a second.
Excuse you.
Is this a good tempo for everybody? Speak now or forever hold your peace, Josh. Yeah.
I'm in place.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead. This will be the last one. Otto, where do you think would be a good spot to start at I? Or not I, O.
I don't know. You know this piece better than I do.
Okay. Can we do pickups to O? Actually, no, we'll do two, or the measure after O, I'll give you one, then you come out. The measure after O. The measure after O.
phrases a lot and gave a lot of gesture on like how to shape the phrases. I felt like, especially when I was watching woodwinds, that they were really paying attention to those gestures and they were playing improved because of that, or did well because of that.
Just specifically for rehearsal's sake, when you stop and we're going to be skipping, maybe just deliberate cutoffs or just like an end instead of just kind of putting your hands down.
I think I like your use of the horizontal playing, but I think some of it became very much like down here and just kind of like swoop in front of you. And I don't think, like we talk a lot about like the energy going through your arms. And so when you do a gesture across, it's very much like a deliberate like effort. And this one, I felt like a downbeat, and it's kind of just like swiped left and right, and I kind of lost the energy in two. And so I was feeling more like downbeats, and I think that caused two to kind of be rushed. Or like you went into one, and all of a sudden we were like way over into two, and I was like, whoa, I thought we were still on one. And so like we kind of got lost a little bit. Not that it was unclear where one is, because I think you kept one solid, which kept us together, but two became a little hidden and a little quick.
Yeah, I think, nice. I think, I felt like you were, conduct the beginning again. Conduct the brass part at the beginning. There was a lot of really good effort on character in this. I appreciate that you're trying to open up. This is a little bit more of a technical thing or an interpretive thing coming through in your gestures. You are very focused on the beginnings of these notes, on the beginnings of all of these notes, but these notes don't have accent or sforzando piano or anything. And I found myself wishing you stayed in the sound more. Do you understand what I mean when I say that?
I thought all the repeated fortissimos were like Dover's way of going.
Maybe. Can you scoot over for a second? What I'm seeing is this. And you can come around front a little bit if you want to watch. And I'm going to raise the stand up. I'm so tall. I'm seeing kind of more like this. Ready? And I think it's got to stay in the sound more. I don't think it's pop, top. I think it's more this. But there's still like a double forte whole note there. And the rest of the whole note just feels like you're not, your gesture is not in the sound sustaining the way the sound needs to sustain. So you look like the music at the beginning of the note, but through the middle of the note to the end of the note, you don't look like the music anymore. And these crescendos, I mean it's forte, but it crescendos to the sforzando. That can't be a downbeat and then you come away, because the very first thing that has to happen is an increase in intensity. So it can't come away from that and then you're going to try to get the intensity back. It has to start forte but then stay in that tension before you get to the sforzando. You want to try it and see if you like it better? Stay in the sound with your gesture. Yeah. You need more arm tension. Which I know we're like, oh, don't grip the stick so hard, you're going to give yourself tendonitis. But it needs to look like you're moving through a different substance. It looks like you're moving through air right now, and you need to move through something You need to hit the beginning of the note and then move through something that's stickier so that you're creating that illusion of resistance, that illusion of tension in your arm that pushes through the crescendo to the next downbeat, so that you're not floating through something that's supposed to really, okay? Yeah, I like that better already. Do it again. Now stay in the sound. Good, yeah, did you like that better? I like that better, okay? Let's go to the next section, which was woodwinds at where? I thought that woodwinds at I, what you were doing is not, I'm looking back for a minute. I don't think that what you were doing is incorrect. Is it in 4/4? It is in 4/4. This is all part of the but here at I, but it's espressivo. And mezzo forte, it felt really just floppy. Not floppy, flappy. Right? At this tempo, but trying to conduct lyrically. Can we take this at I woodwinds? It just felt very, we're going. Ready? And. Right? Regardless of what it looks like on the page, it just doesn't feel like I'm looking like the music. What does the music feel like? What does the music sound like? It feels like a chorale. So even though it doesn't say that it's in 2/2 or in cut time, this would feel much more natural to me this way. Same thing? Ready? You see what I mean? It's just like, oh my, immediately I feel like I'm conducting the music, as opposed to conducting the ink. You want to try it in 2 and see if you like it better? I'm not saying that you were wrong before, but I'm just saying, like, I think the meter that you're conducting is the meter that's in ink on the page, but it's not necessarily the implied meter of the music. I am never afraid to switch into a macro or a micro if it's what the music feels like or sounds like as opposed to the ink that's on the page. I probably even do it too much. But I'm never afraid to take a 4/4 and conduct it in 2 because it's all half notes and it's a chorale and it's just like, it's got to be in 2. Because if I'm conducting in 4, then I'm conducting quarter notes that don't exist and I'm conducting a meter that's not what it sounds like, even though it's what it looks like on the page. Okay, so do this as a macro and see if you like that. Yeah, it's messing you up, but you got to give him just a 2. 2, 1. Now come in for you. Ready? Right, and when you're in 2, suddenly that lift feels like, oh yeah, there's a flow. It's part of the flow of the piece. Try it again. Same thing. We're almost out of time. Let's go to the end. Because who doesn't want to do the end of Finlandia? Everybody wants to do the end of Finlandia. It's awesome. Is this a totally different? That's a totally different piece. Here we go. I like it. I love it. Oh, that's awesome. I'll let everybody in on the joke for just a minute. We use colors. Those of you who've been through conducting class, we use colors to determine, to show ourselves as we're studying the score. Tempo changes, and especially like dynamics, soft dynamics are blue, and larger dynamics are red. And I coach people to like circle a forte in red, and if it's a double forte, maybe you want to double circle it. This is what Willem did in his score for the last 4 measures of Finlandia. He just turned it into a coloring book and went after it. I love it. Okay, so same thing, same comment as before. We're going to start in the second measure of O. This is really, you got to stay in the sounds. Again, can I conduct this for you for just a second? So we're going to start, nobody really in this group is playing on the downbeat of the second measure of O, is that correct? Is percussion rolling or something like that?
Rolling, just a bit.
Okay, so I'll give you that roll and then we'll, okay? Ready? If I'm gonna beat time, I don't even really have to do that. But if I'm trying to show my chest. I'm trying to show the Superman emblem on the front of my superhero suit. And then as I'm conducting, if I'm gonna, through that long note, if I'm gonna conduct beats, I'm not gonna come away or give any sort of accent. I'm not gonna leave the plane. I'm gonna be in the horizontal plane. But 1, 2, 1, 2, I'm just here and I'm in front of the diaphragm. I'm trying to help the brass create this big sound. And it's all about this, as opposed to give him this. Okay, one more time, same place. Nationalistic music. It's just not nationalistic for Ukraine. It's nationalistic for Lithuania. I'm kidding, it's Finland, you idiots.
I was going to say, I was like, no.
Part of me was like, I don't think so, but I'm also not going to say it.
I don't think so, but I'm not really to stick my neck out on that one.
Yeah. He's got a doctorate in this science. Yeah.
All right, here we go. One time for Willem, last call. Find your last note of the piece. Okay? And Willem's going to do this. Did I put the stand up too high for it? Yeah, I'm sorry. And Willem's going to, that's too low for you. That's stuff too. And Willem's going to do this real quick. Last note of the piece, you're going to hold your hands out here, which is not where we usually put our hands, but hold your hands out here and show them your chest, and just, they're going to play the last note of the piece and just get a big sound with your chest like this. Ready? Show the Superman sign like from all the way back and low and just make this entire thing all about Superman. Okay? Go ahead. Just throw them up there. I'll sort them.